Special right triangles, 9-7. There are two special right triangles, and only two. These are what we would call the 30-60-90 triangle and the 45-45-90 theorem. And these, we don't typically leave the 90 off. You don't need to include that because we understand that when you say a 30-60, that you know that the other triangle needs to be 90. There is a relationship between the sides on the triangle in both cases. And by the way, there's not like a 40-50-90 special right triangle. It's only the 30-60 and the 45-45. All right, so this will be our 60. Looks like it's a little bit larger, and this will be the 30. So the relationship between the sides is 1, 2, square root of 3. Therefore, some people call it the 1, 2, root 3 type of problem. And what that means is not that the sides have to be 1, 2, or root 3, but that they have to be some sort of ratio in that relationship. So for example, it could be 2, 4, and then 2 root 3, or any other value. What they typically will do is they'll give you one of these values. Say they'll give you this one here, and they'll say that side is blah, find the other two sides, okay? Or they'll find this side, or give you that side, and then have you find the other side. The only recommendation I have here is that when you do this, this is easiest to go from here to here, and from here to here. Obviously, going from 1x to 2x, all we need to do is multiply by 2. Yeah, we just double. And when you go from 1 to the long side, the long leg, then you multiply by radical 3. Obviously, if you're going the opposite way, you wouldn't double, you would divide by 2, and you would divide by radical 3. Not that you can't figure this out, but I wouldn't recommend going from the long leg to the hypotenuse or vice versa, okay? Always go via the short leg. I think it would be faster to do that. So here's an example. We have a hypotenuse of 10. Find the other two legs. Again, our short angle in this case is up here. There's the 30 degrees. So again, it's 1, 2, 3. So here's the 1, here's the 2, and here's the radical 3. Keep in mind radical 3 is less than 2, correct? Because radical 4 would be 2. So to go from 10 to there, we would divide that. So this side would be 5. Yes? And then we would multiply by radical 3 and get 5 radical 3. All right? Beautiful. Let's do one more, except this time let's start with the long leg. And let's call this 10. Again, here will be my 60, and here will be the 30. So to go from this side to that side, again, we're dividing, yes, by radical 2, or radical 3. So it's 10 divided by radical 3. Now, if this is the end of the story, you obviously need to fix this. You can't leave that as an answer. But if you're after the hypotenuse, why just keep going, double that. So now you get 20 radical 3. All right? And then again, if you want to simplify either one of those, take 20 radical 3, multiply by radical 3 over radical 3, and you get 20 radical 3 over 3. All right? That's the tougher of the two special. The other one is called a 45-45-90. And notice here we have two angles that are the same. So if the base angles are identical, not only are the legs have to be identical. So whatever these sides are, they've got to be the same. So what we do is we call them 1 and 1, and then the hypotenuse is radical 2. So it's called 1, 1, radical 2 is the relationship of the sides that you need to memorize. So leg, leg, hypotenuse. You may want to do that up here too. Leg, hypotenuse, leg. All right, find MP, MP being the diagonal. We know a side length. Probably the fastest thing to do here is recognize that this is a square, so these two angles have been bisected, therefore they'll both be 45s. Again, those sides have to be the same. So to get this, we would just take 9 times radical 2. If you have a brain fart in the middle of a problem and you can't remember what the pattern was, you could certainly say, well, if that's side 9, this is 9, so then go to Pythagoras, plug him in, and solve for x. And you'll get 81 plus 81, or 81 times 2, correct? You'll see in a second why I don't. Too many steps there in one step. Sorry about that. Let's get rid of the radical for a second. And we have x squared. So then we say take the square root. 2 times 81. And radical 81 is 9. So therefore we'll get 9 radical 2. Yeah? But notice that takes a little bit longer than just memorizing the pattern. Again, here we have a case of going from the hypotenuse to the leg. So if the hypotenuse is 4, you want to divide, because we want to make it smaller. So the leg will equal 4 divided by radical 2. Simplifying that, you will get 2 radical 2. Okay, again in slow motion, multiply by radical 2 over radical 2. So these last two lessons are kind of like shortcuts, if you will, both the families and this. They help us arrive at certain answers faster. Good luck with your homework problems.